and go to my main topic for the day, which is, what would I have done differently if I knew what I know now when I was younger? So just 3 lessons for you, and I'll sit down. I have just 3 lessons for you. Number 1, when I was younger, I wish I knew the value of time. Do you hear that? Time has priceless value. When I was younger, I wish I knew the value of time. Listen, time. Okay, I'm a guest of honor. I shouldn't walk around. Then I should just speak. Yeah. Time. You cannot see it. You cannot touch it. You cannot smell it. You cannot prove it. But time is there. Time exists. You do not contact time with your natural 5 senses, but somehow you know time is there. You cannot keep time to use it tomorrow. So whether you've used the time well or you haven't used it, it's going. And it's gone for good. And the most powerful thing and helpful thing you can do is to utilize your time well. Make sure you are accountable to yourself in terms of how you've used your time. At the end of the year, you must say, what did I do this year? What have I done in the last 5 years? Because you know what? Even if you do nothing for 5 years and you are where you were 5 years ago, those 5 years are gone. And I told you that I used to be young like you. And I think I'm still young. But not as young as you. And there are many things, or many times you feel like, I should do this. And you ask yourself, how long will it take? Well, it needs 10 years. And you just feel, okay, I don't have time. So while you have the time, because time is on your side, if you're 25, 23, 30, time is on your side because you can do anything, even if it requires 20 years. You can start it. Don't ever get to a situation where you feel like, I wish I did this, but I don't have the time. And then you look at the time that, I don't want to call it wasted, but the time that has passed you by. And you cannot account for the time that you had. So the value of time is very, very powerful. And I'm going to connect it to the next thing that I want to talk about. Secondly, it is the power of compounding. You remember standard 8? Compound interest? Do you remember simple interest and compound interest? Obviously, if you are here at College of Medicine, you must have passed compound interest. Compound interest works like this. If you invest 1 kwacha now for 30 days, after 30 days, you reinvest your 1 kwacha plus the interest. So you begin to earn interest on interest. Does that make sense? It's like, that's the power of compounding. Actually, the power of compounding works like this. I need to be careful because the scientists are here. But I think it took about 1,000 years for the population of the Earth to hit 1 billion. It took a long time to hit 1 billion. But it didn't take the same time to hit 2 billion. In fact, the moment you hit 6 billion, it's like every year you add 1 billion. Why? Because children are having their own children. That's the power of compounding, where what you have produced begins to produce something else. So this is what it means. I wish I knew the power of compounding earlier when I was younger, because it would have meant that the idea of saving money and investing money, I would have started much, much earlier. Because the more time you have, the more miraculous things grow, especially things like money. So I wish I knew the power of compounding, because I would have started saving much, much earlier, even saving small amounts. The power of compounding works like this. It is the power of small things becoming big things. It is the power of small things becoming big things. So when you have 10,000 kwaya today and somebody tells you, well, you can invest it, and then you say, oh, after 1 year, what will it be? Or it will be from 10,000, it will be 10,500. You feel like, wow, it's a waste of time. It's because you are thinking short term. The moment you begin to think long term, that 10,000 is for 1 month, but for the next month it's another 10,000 on top of the 10,000, and then the interest on top of the miraculous power of time. What time does to savings, even if you're saving small amounts, is incredible. You've never done the maths for you to see if you are saving 5,000 kwacha every month, and that 5,000 kwacha is earning interest at 10%, but you've done this for 5 years, what will it be? You've never done the maths. If you do the maths, you will start. My third lesson, and I'll connect all this, is the transformative power of education. I wish I knew when I was younger. Obviously, I didn't run away from school. I did finish. My mother forced me to finish. God bless her soul. I can never repair her enough. She's late now for about a year. But my mother forced me to go to school. And all the credit belongs to her. Because I didn't know why she was forcing me. But it's only now, looking backwards, that I know the transformative power of education. If you have an opportunity to go to school, go. Why do I say this? And I'm going to connect all this to entrepreneurship. I think I still have my few minutes in the 30 minutes. Why do I say this? You know, in the developed world, America, Europe, these people have been civilized for hundreds and hundreds of years. And that creates something called generational wealth. Have you ever heard of this? Yes. Generational wealth, where you are born and you don't have to worry about what you eat. You don't have to worry about what you wear. You know, your parents have these things already sorted out. In fact, you can choose what schools you can go to. Even when you want to start a business as an entrepreneur, you have somewhere to start from. I've read a lot of books where people say, don't go to the bank to look for capital for your entrepreneurship initiative. Talk to family members and raise money from family members. You know what that assumes? It assumes that your family members, because of generational wealth, because these families in Europe and in USA are not struggling about what to eat or what to wear or where to sleep. They have dealt with those things already. So they can, the Nigerians call it, you know, they can, I read somewhere also, it was like a joke, but it did make the point. Steve Jobs started his business in a garage. Bill Gates started his business in a garage. And I think the Facebook guy started his business in a garage. So this guy said, just go into your garage and see what you can do. And someone said, you know what, here in Malawi, we don't even have the garage. So don't assume that we can just walk into a garage and start Facebook. Because even having a garage, alright? So we don't have generational wealth. I can tell you that most of us, at least in my case, touching a switch for the lights to come on. For me, it was when I went to secondary school. That's a story for another day, but I went to Kamuzu Academy, and you go for interviews first, and then, when you get selected, then you actually go. So during the interviews, I go into the shower, and I open the water. There were two things, right? This red knob and this green knob. And for me, I don't know what it means. So I just open this one, the red one. And hot water starts coming out, like really hot, boiling. And I just jump in. And then I'm like, whoa. So now, here's the water, there are the knobs. Even for me to organize, I have to, I'm like, how Kamuzu build a school like this where the whole water is so hot? The point is, I didn't know. Okay? So for me, even to eat bread or to drive a car, these were not things to be taken for granted. These are things that my parents' generation did not have. Are you following me? Yes. But those are not my struggles now. But it's not because my father gave me money. It's because my father and my mother especially forced me to go to school. And school can change your fortunes in a big way. So these three things, the time value of money, the power of compounding, and the transformative power of education. So the reason I dressed up like this this morning, I want to dress like Dr. Hua, necktie and a suit. But I thought, connected to what she said, what's my purpose? Who am I? Am I Chief Investments Officer? No, I think I am a young person that wants to speak to other young people about what possibilities are out there. And so, although I work, but what I'm doing now is that I'm creating a big farmer out of myself. And I think I'm a farmer, so that's why I put on, farming clothes. And it's connected to what I want to tell you. A few years ago, I started, a friend of mine invited me into some chicken farming business. And one of the big farmers told us, if you hit 10,000 chickens, like layers, it's like you're now in the money. So we took all our money, invested, we were at 5,000 chickens, 7,000 chickens, and when we were about to get to 10,000 in 2015, all of a sudden there was a drought and there was no maize in the country. And you couldn't feed your 10,000 chickens. And you know what happened? We lost 10,000 chickens in the space of 2 weeks. They all died. And that's how the dream of becoming a farmer died in the team, but remained alive in me. I said, grit is the way. And so last year on my own, I said, I must do it properly. Because that time we were renting, like college in Mabanga rent, but this time I said, I must build it nicely, I must read what it takes, and blah, blah, blah. So we did properly. And I started on my own with 2,000 layers and did everything. These chickens are supposed to start laying at 19 weeks. So did everything for 19 weeks. Week 19, when the first egg was up, like egg number 1 was up, the farm manager tells me, I think Mwalo Chitoba. And do you know Chitoba what it does? Like knocks off 200 chickens in a day. And then knocks off another 200 the next day. And so every day he's sending me a report. We're now at 1,800. We're now at 1,600. We're now at 1,400. And I went there, I said, you know what, these chickens are 19 years old. We can sell them. He says, I think we should sell them. I was just testing his grit. I said, we should sell. He says, we should sell. I'm like, where can we sell? At the market. I will go. I'm like, you know what, we're not selling. I will watch these chickens die up to the last one. Because I just wrote a book called Grit. Never what? Give up. I want another story to say, all my chickens died, but I started again. When I said that, you know what happened? They stopped dying. So I still have about 900. We do about 30 trays a day. The vision is to get to 20,000, 30,000. But the point is, life will test you. Life will test you to the core. So if you have time, if you know the time, the value of time, you will not give up. You will say, I can always start again. I can always start again. If you know the power of compounding, meaning that small things can become big things as long as you've given them time, and as long as you haven't given up, you will continue walking forward. But what about the transformative power of education? I can tell you that I always thought that I was an entrepreneur who just didn't have the capital. And most of you think, I'm an entrepreneur inside me because I'm going to capital. Where will the capital come from? I don't know where it will come from. It will come from. But I can give you an answer now. If you have some kind of job and it gives you an income, that is the biggest source of your capital for your future business endeavors. And clap your hands, please. There are many things that without money you cannot do. Unfortunately, we don't have people to advance you money for business capital. You have to raise the money yourself. And if you don't have generational wealth, you can't even look to your family or to your parents. You have to look to yourself. And the most obvious starting point is education and a job. Because why I say this is because me as an aspiring entrepreneur, I've always kind of looked down on those that work. It's like, oh, you're an employee, okay. In our environment, a job is a big source of capital, as long as you have purpose and vision. Clap your hands. Many of you, when you think about your business idea, the thing that daunts your mind is, if you are at school, you are at the right place. Because once you finish school and you have a job, you are on the right path towards your entrepreneurial dreams. It will be very, very easy for you to achieve your entrepreneurial dreams if you have an income. And I can tell you that I'm going to leave work. I think, is my boss here? No. I'm going to leave work because my passion is out there in the field. But I need the job to invest there. And so I don't think that my job is valueless. My job helps me to achieve what my purpose is. I have planted like thousands and thousands and thousands of trees because my mother believed in trees a lot. And when I was younger, 25 years ago, she told me, here's the field, young man, Dan, plant trees here. And I was like, Mommy, trees? The next year, it's raining, Dan, plant trees here. And I was like, Mommy, come on, trees. And I planted trees. Now, 2 years ago, I grew up and I was like, I think my mom had a point. Let me plant these trees. And now I'm thinking, what if I had planted 25 years ago? The power of time. I'm thinking, what would I be if I had planted these trees 25 years ago? And so I leave this with you. You have time on your side. If you have nothing to do, just go plant trees. And plant a lot of them. Believe me, just go and plant trees. I don't have enough time to tell you everything in terms of the type of trees I'm planting. I'm planting fruit trees, macadamias. Anyone knows macadamia? Yes. You do know macadamia? Yes. Okay, I'm a guest of honor, right? So I must behave. But let me just use 1 minute as a motivational speaker. Do you really know macadamia? Yes. Because you must Google macadamia, right? And the economic value of one macadamia tree. One macadamia tree will give you $400 a year. Are you listening? Yes. $400 a year. And I've planted 3,000 now. I'm planning to get to like 5,000 because I'm humble. Otherwise, I should really go to 10,000. But at 5,000 trees, $400 per tree. How much is that? Sorry? Can you do the proper maths, please? 1.2 what? This is $1.2 million. This is not like million water. Do you know $1 million? How much is that in kwacha? 1 billion. It's like $1 billion. I have 3,000 as we speak now. The only problem is that they are only 2 years old, and they will only produce at year 10. You see the power? I wish I had planted 10 years ago. You see the power of time? Yes. Just go plant now. It will cost you 2,000 kwacha to plant one macadamia tree. If you can plant 10 in your backyard, go now. Like now, live now, go. I hope I've connected all the points. The power of time. And what you need to do with your time. If you have nothing to do with your time, just go plant trees. The trees will save your time. Because the trees will tell you, you planted us 5 years ago, look at us. You did well. You did something good 5 years ago. The power of compounding. Even a tree shows you the power of compounding. Every year, the tree will tell you, I've been here 1 year, I've been here 2 years. The tree will never be the same size after 2 rainy seasons. The power of compounding. The same principle works with money, the same principle works with education, the same principle works with reading books. If you tell yourself, I'm going to read 1 book a month, cumulatively, the compounding power of that knowledge. If you tell yourself, I'm going to join Fill My Cup and attend every session, the power of compounding from the knowledge you get there. 2 years later, you will not be the same person. And the transformative power of education. this we're giving you now is education. What she gave you just before me is education. What you're going to get from Dr. Hoare is education. Use the knowledge. Thank you. God bless you.